What's up, folks? So I had a topic that came up that I was thinking about. Thought maybe it might open some discussion up. Nothing else gives me a chance to talk about it. Backlog work. Curious. It's easy to get backed up, especially once you get a good reputation established. I have never had I've been in business a little over 10 years, and I can't think of a single time where I've had to worry about finding work. I've always had work lined up. In fact, it's always been to where I've had at least 2 months of work to work, in the hopper. Um, a lot of them are bigger jobs, so I can work people in on smaller stuff, but I've always had at least 2 months of work ever since I started business. Probably not the first 6 months, but after that, it's been pretty constant. So backlog work is like customers that say when you can get to me. So they're not urgent jobs. They're just kind of jobs that they want something done, but they don't need it done right now. If you got a ton of other stuff going, I just kind of figure out in my mind what that job is going to take time-wise, and then I just try to work them into my schedule. And you're going to have stuff that comes up. It doesn't matter how good you plan. Especially when you're working on big jobs, you're going to have stuff where materials don't come in, and you've got everything caught up, and you're waiting on doors to come in or something. Take your pick. And then you've got a spot that opens up in your schedule, and then that's when I work in those backlog jobs. I try not to let them sit out there too long, because like I said, I never have a problem with work, so I try to get them. My attempt is to try to get them worked within 30 days. But with my schedule, that's usually a challenge to get to them within 30 days. 60 days is kind of my, that's about as far as I like to stretch them. But it just depends. My customers know ahead of time that I work 2 jobs and this isn't a full-time gig. But, I tell them when I show up, I'm going to be there until I get the job done, unless there's some kind of circumstances that prevent me from doing it. Some kind of special order item or something. Other than that, I try to stay on them once I start them. So that, in my opinion, that's the best way to handle them. I use an app called Joist App, Joist, and I'm eventually going to get another. I'm using my cell phone for all my videos. Get a separate camera, that way I can show you the way that app works. It's really nice on managing my backlog work, especially managing invoices and estimates and job leads. You can put them all in there. You can customize your estimate or your invoice. Put in any kind of legal jargon you want. You can identify when the customer has approved the estimate and send them an invoice. They can actually sign it on their cell phone, or I guess it'd have to be on a cell phone. Sign the invoice or sign the estimate prior to you starting. So it's a really awesome app. I've used it for the last probably going on 7 years now. And prior to that, it was just a notebook that I kept up with stuff, and it got to the point where I just couldn't keep up that way. There was too much going on to track all that. So this is a really nice app to keep up with that. So if you don't use that, use some kind of there's a ton of, and Joist is a free app. Find some kind of app out there that will help you manage your workload. Because I've got a video on project managing and several videos around this, and this app is what helps me maintain all that. So you'll need to find some method. Even if you decide to use pencil and a piece of paper, you got to figure out some way of tracking all that, to know when is it just a job lead, when is it an actual job that you're going to do, You know, when are you waiting on a customer to give you approval? You know, when is it going to be invoiced? When are you totally done with that job? This especially helps when you are hiring people to work for you. I can just give them a job number and they can look in this app. Once I give them the logon information, they can see exactly what we're doing on that job, and I can tell them, you know, I need you to do this, 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 and this. If they have any questions, I try to write it out exactly what I'm doing in that app. So that helps me tremendously. And then I try not to go any further than that. So my estimates are set for 90 days. So my estimates are good for a 90-day period. After that, you know, that price is null and void. Usually it's pretty close, but to me that's a good practice, especially on job materials. You never know when things are going to fluctuate. OSB can sometimes double in price throughout a calendar year. Fence pickets are another item, at least for me. You know, there's a lot of different things that your materials are going to fluctuate throughout the year, and then you know, if nothing else, you may have bid it on a certain price because your schedule was flexible, and they call you back and want you to do the job at a later date, and your schedule is not flexible at that point, so you would want to charge more. So you want to kind of, personally would make sure you put some kind of wording in your estimates to cover you on that. You know, and when you do your estimates, kind of think out over whatever period that is. If you wanted to make it good for 30 days or 60 days, you know that you may be up to that last day that they call and say they want to do the work. Well, you try to work it out in your mind based off of what work you've got going now, you know, when you can get to that job and how long it's going to take. So backlog work's pretty interesting, but like I said, most of the time I just work them in, you know, amongst everything else. So it's kind of a juggling act to do that. Like right now, I'm finishing a remodel, getting ready to start a remodel. I'm working on a remodel, working on a commercial job, and in between all that, I'm doing little jobs. So it's kind of balancing everything. Like the remodel I'm working on that I'm in the midst of, I try to do that on Saturdays. The commercial job, I only have somebody that can be there with me like Monday through Wednesday. So I schedule those evenings to do that, and then Thursday and Friday evenings I work on other jobs that I have. So my Saturday's taken up with a remodel, Monday through Wednesday is a commercial job, and Thursday and Friday evenings I'm working on whatever. So it is a balancing act to keep all that in check. But my recommendation is find you a good app to keep up with all that. That will help you maintain some kind of schedule with all of it. Otherwise, you'll get stuff lost, and you know, the last thing you want to do is forget about, you know, a good customer that you got, or you know, a paying customer. It's the last thing you want to fall through the cracks. So, hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We'll see you later.